In this room we have first day of harvesting. Um, Today morning pickers already harvested the biggest mushroom. They did a little bit separation. Our climate here, we went down with temperature. Now it's 16 degree here. We keep CO2 level 2000 ppm. We increased our fund to 45% for good evaporation. Our mushrooms are dry, and we are not really happy with what pickers did here, but it not our farm, so grower or harvesting manager did what they did. We will show you. We have generations, also not the best picture here, but it's okay. The problem that we can have here, because pickers finished at 10 o'clock in the morning and they are going to continue harvesting only tomorrow morning in a clumps which are not properly separated. They will have not round mushrooms tomorrow morning. But situation is good on the shelves. We have generations, we have dry mushrooms, they are white, they grow. We harvest first flesh during 5 days usually. And it's good if we can harvest each day good quality mushrooms. And mushrooms grow with the speed 4% an hour, and they doubled in weight each day. If your all mushrooms the same size, they will grow together and you will have a lot of same size mushrooms on a bed, and you will never get good results, good yield with mushrooms same size, because you will be forced to harvest them all together, almost all together, and you will harvest your flesh in 2, maximum 3 days with poor quality and poor yield. To make sure that you have good results, you should have different sizes of the mushrooms when you start harvesting. When you start harvesting, you should have your biggest mushrooms, and in the same time you should have very small mushrooms that will be harvested after 4 days in the end of the flush. To create these different mushrooms, we call it staggering, or we call it generations of mushrooms. Don't mix it up with flushes. Generations of mushrooms, different sizes of mushrooms in one flesh. We create those generation during our cool down period. We intentionally go down slowly during cool down with temperatures and with other parameters to create some amount of mushrooms each day and have them for different days of harvesting. Today on this room, harvest is already collected biggest mushrooms, and we can see that still on our shelf we have different sizes of mushrooms. We have big mushrooms that tomorrow will be 7 or more. We have generation, so today we harvested biggest mushrooms. Tomorrow we will harvest mushrooms which today is 5, tomorrow they will be 7. We have 3rd generation, we have 4th generation, and we have even 5th generation. Here picture is not perfect in terms of generations. What else important to maintain generation and to get a good yield? Not only to create those generations, but also to keep them during harvesting. If your pickers will harvest all mushrooms same size from the shelf, for example, you have order for small mushrooms and they will harvest everything, you cut your yield very much. So after harvesters, during first 3 days harvest mushrooms, She or he should leave on a shelf mushrooms with different sizes. So when we harvest mushrooms, we don't harvest just biggest mushrooms or mushroom size that we need. We harvest mushrooms in a way that we leave on a shelf different types of mushrooms. Here on the shelves, we are not really happy how they separated, because for tomorrow they will have clumps very tight, and we would like to see the shelf with less mushrooms of third generation to make space for mushrooms to grow. So you also maintain generations during harvesting by leaving on a shelf mushrooms of different size after each day of harvesting. Now I want to talk about harvesting. Harvesting is not the part of our course, but I want to say about main principles of harvesting organization, because harvesting is probably most overlooked opportunity on mushroom farms, and to achieve good yields, good quality, your harvesting should be organized in a proper way. Harvesting is a combination of harvesting technique and organization of picking process. And organization plays crucial, very important role in your results and what you will get from your shelves. We suggest our courses that devoted to harvesting organization, and in this course I will very shortly tell about main principles of harvesting technique. What we harvest from our shelves when we harvest mushroom. We have generations of mushrooms different size on the shelves, and our mushrooms grows with very high speed. They increase in weight for 4% in an hour. So next day, if we can leave mushrooms, they will grow for 2 times. In 2 times they will be bigger. And if we harvest mushrooms that have space where to grow, and it's solid, it's good quality, and we harvest it today but not tomorrow, we lose half of our yield. And even if we harvest it right now but not in the evening, we will lose also huge amount of our yield. Also, very important to not destroy generations by harvesting, or even sometimes you can kind of create generation by proper separation. To maintain generations after harvesting, we still should see mushrooms different size on shelf. So don't try always to harvest biggest mushrooms. It's a huge mistake. If your sales allow you to sell mushrooms 7 centimeters in diameter, and your mushrooms are now 5, and you can leave them until tomorrow to get 7 centimeters in diameter, 6, maybe more than 6, you should do it, because you will have twice as more yield. So general principles that you should find in your clump. You should find a leader. You should find biggest mushrooms. Then you give space to these biggest mushrooms. You should make sure that they have where to grow until you will harvest them. And if you see that there are a lot of mushrooms, of smaller mushrooms that touch each other already, or you see that they will touch each other until next time you will come to the bed, you should make space harvesting smaller mushrooms. So when you come to harvest mushrooms, your pickers actually, they should remove mushrooms that are smaller, not the biggest one, but smaller, to give space to the leader. And the last thing, you should keep generations. So which smaller mushrooms to harvest? If you see that there are a lot of mushrooms, like say 2.5 or 3 centimeters in diameter. At very few smaller ones, you harvest them. If you see there are a lot of even smaller mushrooms, 1 centimeter in diameter, you make space taking them from the bed. And this keeps generations on your shelf. This is actually the main principles of harvesting. Because mushrooms grow very fast, it's good to give them maximum time to grow. Even during one day. Your pickers usually don't work during the nights, so you have a gap after ending harvesting today and before they come tomorrow. But during the day, if your mushrooms grow 4% in an hour, you can give them time to grow. It's really important, and to do this, you should harvest mushroom by passes. So picker harvest mushroom that he need to pick here, go further along the shelf and return here in 2 or 3 hours to harvest mushrooms that already almost 10% bigger. And this increase your yield substantially. So it should be done probably always that your harvesters make like rounds, passes, and harvest mushrooms in the same place 3-4 times during a day. Sometimes when you have good equipment, it's good. You can achieve even 7 times during a day. Important from organization point of view that your harvesters understand what they should do, that supervise their control their work and control what they do on the shelves. Important to have whiteboard to give tasks to them, so they understand what they should do. Again, we invite you to our courses for harvesting, where we talk about harvesting technique, harvesting organization. Now I want to show you some clump where we have a situation that we should separate. Depending on our flash, how dense it is, how many mushrooms we can have or we cannot have separate date before first date of harvesting, separate day when we do separation. It's a procedure when we ensure that we have enough generations and we remove mushrooms that prevent other mushrooms for growing. We will not talk a lot in this course about separation, but I show you on a clump what we mean about when we talk about separation. We have this clump where we have a lot of mushrooms, and our pickers today already went home, and we know that until next time that they come to this place, it will be 14 or even 15 hours. And during this time, these mushrooms will grow for almost 1 centimeter in diameter, and we can clearly see that they don't have this place where to grow. If we will come tomorrow, we will see that they have not round shape. They are squeezed. Color will be not white in places where they touch each other. We increase probability of appearing bacterial blotch. And it will be very hard to harvest them tomorrow because they all will be squeezed, so we lose quality and we don't increase quantity of mushrooms by letting this as it is. This is why today harvesters should make kind of separation. She or he should remove mushrooms to let other mushrooms to grow. We should find leader in this clump, the biggest mushroom. And it's obviously, we can see that this mushroom is our leader here, and we should keep this mushroom until tomorrow. It's far away from the biggest size that we can sell. So tomorrow these mushrooms will be close to 6 centimeters and will be 2 times as heavier than today. So we leave these mushrooms on the shelf, we don't touch it. But in the same time we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mushrooms, same size, next generation, and we definitely can say that we cannot harvest them in good quality in the same time tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So we should remove some mushrooms this size. And here I would say we need to remove this one and this one. Move this mushroom and this mushroom, and now we can see that we have space for mushrooms to grow. Может показаться, что мы удалили слишком много грибов, но вы себе представьте эти грибы размером 6 сантиметров, и вы поймете, что тут есть для них место, чтобы расти. Я только сделал этот кусочек. Мы видим, что тут по краям тоже еще много работы, которую сборщицы не доделали или сделали не очень хорошо.